And then we would travel, and those are probably my most favorite times. I mean, I loved wrestling John. I loved needling them and ticking them off, which I did quite often, especially if we talked about politics. You know, we would talk about family. We would talk about sports. We even talked about God. The only time we ever actually really talked about wrestling was at shows. And that was kind of cool because we had built that friendship that it wasn't all it was based on. So those are actually probably some of my favorite times in all of wrestling.
John was the first person out to come to hang out with me outside of wrestling. To sit there and listen to me. He learned that I was a huge nerd. And he learned things about me before the rest of the community did. He knew that I was gay. We never really spoke about it a lot, but I know he knew I was trans. I was struggling a lot and like in a really dark place because dysphoria is so dangerous. And there was plenty of times where I was like on the brink of like suicide. And I remember my mom died. He called me. Now see, this thing with John, because my cousin was murdered and he called me. And when my mom died, he called me. And both times he just listened. He just listened. And he never judged me. He never called me crazy. He never made me feel less than. So when my mom died, I was in a very dark place and I wanted to die. I wanted to die. And I thought that no one knew how I felt. No one cared. My promoter didn't call me. My so-called like wrestling friends didn't call me. John called me. He was on the road. He was in a different place, a different country. And he took the time just to contact me and let me know that like, I can weather it. And I'm trying to be strong right now because he would call me a fucking mark for all this crying I'm doing. But in the 22 years I've been in this business, I've never met a person who was so genuine. He never misgendered me. He never called me the wrong name. It was immediate for him.
Those are the trips that we bonded on for hours. And when I say bonded, we didn't talk wrestling. That's where I found out we both played hockey, and we both found out that we were the same age. And he, like I said, he went to McQuaid, I went to Rush Henrietta. We both lost our dads at an early age, and those were the conversations that. Those are the ones I'll cherish forever, because it wasn't just talking wrestling, and you can only talk about the same crap over and over. And John and I, we just talked on a friend level, and his love for his dad, and how when he was a father, he wanted to be the same way, and I was the same way. And keep in mind, this is 2005, 2006, 2007, way before we had kids. And when we both became fathers, we text, say, remember those car rides? And
so I was on the road with John a lot at a time in my life. It seemed like every weekend. And he used to do this thing where if everybody in the car, if he was driving, he would drive most of the time. And he would always tell us, relax guys, I drive for a living. He drove a box truck like once in his life. He didn't drive for a living. But that was always his line, especially when he would do something like almost crash the car. Relax guys, I drive for a living. Okay, John. But if everyone would fall asleep late at night, he'd pull the car over. He'd wake everybody up, and he'd tell us we were out of gas. And we would all be like, do you know where the nearest gas station is? This is like before GPS is really, like you didn't have it on your phone. You had like a TomTom or a Garmin. And we're like, well, where's the closest gas station? And like, we're all trying to like rally up and figure out what we do. And John would be like, just kidding. And he'd just get back on the highway and start driving. First time he did it, we were all freaking out. The second time he did it, I think I was the only one in the car that was there for the first time he did it. And I was like, shut up, John, I'm going back to bed.
I'm Scott Klepp here for WrestleVision. Here with me is the new champion, Brodie Lee. He's my man. Come on. Can't remember the midget.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A favorite rip of mine, John, is he's the one that introduced me to sheets. And when I realized that there was a place that you could go at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning before a long road trip home, and pretty much get whatever you want to eat. Sheets was a favorite stop of mine, and even when John just wanted to get home. But at this particular time, we'd had a couple drinks, and Matt Morgan, he had gave us a couple of shots, you know, and we had to kill some time, and then we end up at Sheets. And it's later than usual, so we're just like, all right. I go in the bathroom, and he opens the door and just throws a bunch of magazines at me in the bathroom. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I was like, oh, the WWE magazine. So I'm like reading it. I'm like in the bathroom. I come back out. He's like, right there, sir. That's the man stealing the magazines. Right there. He was in the bathroom. Check his pants. So I go, what the hell? 3 o'clock in the morning in Pittsburgh. I'm in a Sheets pulling down my pants to show no magazines, but a giant 6'7" bushy bearded idiot named John is laughing his ass off because he's got me getting interrogated by the Sheets employee. Just the crazy stuff that would come out of his mouth, and just the fact that he could scare somebody just looking at him, and then once you meet him, you realize he's the biggest sweetheart you'll ever meet. That was fun.
And like I thought you were gonna fight Cody Deaner for the championship after you threw in the towel. I don't know what happened.
I didn't throw the towel in.
After the other guy threw in the towel.
Oh,
Olsen guy.
who?
When Jimmy Olsen's brother.
Oh, that jerk, Colin. Look at his eye. Yeah.
He's all messed up.
You know what? These aren't good questions. You usually have good questions.
And like, who's your next opponent gonna be?
Possibly Scott Klepp. That's right.
He's a pansy.
So it'll be an easy night for me then.
Yeah.
Right?
And we drive down in his the Huber van, we called it, the Hugh Blazer, that only sat 4 comfortably. One of us had to be sitting on the wheel well at all times.
We kind of get lost for a minute. We don't know where to go. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna pull over and ask this guy for directions. And we're like, well, no, it's Philly. Don't pull over at all. Like, let's just keep going. And he's like, no, it's the city of brotherly love. I got this. And he rolls down the window and he asks the guy for directions. The guy just kind of stares at him and just keeps walking. Like, no, we're not getting any help here on the street at this random gas station. But that was his like optimism at the time. Like, no, I got this. I got this. But after the show, we get a hotel. We're all in there. We're goofing off. You know, we're 20, 22, 21 at the time. We're all goofing off in the hotel. And it's time to go to bed. He drove all the way there. He's going to have to drive us all the way home in the morning.
We were so hyped up from this show that we spent most of the night like suplexing each other onto the beds and jumping from bed to bed onto each other. And you know, I didn't drink till I was 21. None of us in the room drank. It wasn't like we were drunk or anything. We were so hyped up from this wrestling show. And you know, it would get to a point where like, all right, everyone settle down.
And we're goofing off and the lights out. We're all sleeping. But half of us are kind of in that like late night giddy mood where you don't quite stop talking. So every couple minutes I would say something and he would get mad and tell us to go to sleep. And then Colin would say something and he would get mad and tell us to go to sleep. He's like, I'm warning you, stop.
And then we get back up and we'd start going at it and somebody would throw somebody and whatever. And John says, all right, this is it. It's like 4 a.m. If we're going to get any sleep, we got to do it now. Everyone goes to sleep or we're going home now.
And Colin finally did something to set him off.
So we lay back down and I, for some reason, had this, the action figures that came with like a mini boombox. You remember those? So it's 4 a.m. John has just laid down the hammer that if anybody is not going to sleep, then we are all driving home. So we all lay down. It is the quietest. I reach over into my bag, I grab this one Billy Gunn boombox, and I press that button. And John says, that's it, we're leaving! And put us all in the car and made us drive home at 4 a.m. And by made us drive, I mean he drove the whole way home.
And he made us leave the hotel, and we couldn't get our money back. He didn't care. He's like, if you're not in the Jeep, I'm leaving without you. And he piled us all back in. He drove all the way home because he was just so mad at us for keeping him up. And, that was probably the maddest I've ever seen him, obviously, honestly.
That may be the first time he used the we're out of gas trick. That may be the same trip.
That was the one time we got him so good that he had to drive us all the way home. And that's what stands out to me.
Yeah.
Who do you want to fight?
Anybody but Raven.
Who do you want to fight for easy match.
Scott Klepp.
Yeah, I mean, besides me.
No, that's it. Is that it?
And
All right.
who's your top?
Oh, no, that's it.
So I'm Scott Klepp
That's
signing
it.
off for.
I'm done.
Wait a minute.
No.
I'm Scott Klepp signing off for
okay.
ECW. Yes.
ECW.
Signing off for WrestleVision.
Damn.
Happy Easter. Wish you guys a happy Easter. Wish you a happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
I don't know how I said it. ECW.
Happy Easter.
He texted me about he was in Florida. He was going to bring his kids down to the Skunk Ape Research Center down there, and he would always just send me random stuff.
Arthur P. Bailey, wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I understand that you can't have a parade, but I want to take this moment to send you lots of love. I also wanted to show you this property that I'm on here. You know what this is good for, man? You know what's good out there? Hear these noises at night. So I've got my 8-year-old son on the case. We've been hunting for Bigfoot. We've been squatching. Nothing yet, but I believe that here in Florida may be the epicenter for where Bigfoot lives. That's a bug on my face, no big deal.
Yeah, I remember I was listening to Stone Cold's podcast, and Stone Cold mentioned, and this is like years and years ago, Stone Cold mentioned something about Brodie Lee and how he loved Brodie Lee and how Brodie Lee threw hell of a clothesline or something like that. And I remember I texted John and I was like, yo, Stone Cold's talking about you on his podcast. He was like, I just got off the phone with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was like, that's crazy. He's like, yeah, I just talked to Stone Cold Steve Austin for like an hour. And I was like, I can't, what?
All right. July 17th, the Big Rig rolls into the Monroe County Fair, and I'll tell you what, it starts at 12 noon and goes all day, so you better be there. Ah. Is that good? Join NWA No Limits TV all day Sunday or 3 o'clock Sunday, my 18. Ah.